Well, welcome to another edition of Fork in the Road, and it does begin what is one of my favourite weeks of the year, and I'm sure it's this bloke on screens, one of his favourite weeks of the year. He's 5 times win on the PGA Tour, he's won 12 times worldwide, represented the Aussies in the President's Cup, but it's his old man that holds the mantle at Warnambool Golf Club. Welcome, Marc Leishman. How many times has Dad won the club championship? Because he did remind me of that at US Masters.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, she's. I think it's like maybe 6 or 7. I'm at 2, so yeah, he's got me on that one. But yeah, he's still got a bit of game too. So gives me a run for my money. It's good.
Now, I remember the first time I beat my dad, and is it still probably one of the most satisfying wins of your career at 13 years old, playing in the same group as your old man, beating him in the club championship at Warnambool?
I think the good thing about it was that it wasn't match play. I think if it was match play, it would have been, still satisfying. But when you're just beating him, it's like, geez, did he let me win? Or, all that. But because it was stroke play and I still had to beat everyone else, it was, that was pretty satisfying, very unexpected. But pretty satisfying. But I've probably had a few more that have topped that over the last few years. But when you win anything, it's obviously a pretty big buzz, and that was my first real big win. So yeah.
And look, and growing up in Warnambool, I reckon the tough conditions with the wind down there would have prepared you like super well. My theory with you is you seem to love playing like all the tough golf courses. You always play well on these hard golf courses. Did the tough conditions at Warnambool really prepare you for, give you good grounding for playing, all the big majors and the big tournaments, which you seem to do really well at?
I think especially the British Open. You play, and I think it just teaches you that, a score doesn't really mean that much. Like, you can shoot 65 on an easy day and it might not actually be a great score, or you could shoot 74 on a day that is just absolutely brutal, and that's actually a better score than the 65 you shot 2 weeks earlier. You just got to it teaches you to just do as good as you can, have your score, see how it ends up at the end of the day. Because, if you think you have to shoot 65 every day, you're probably, you're not going to do too well. Or if you think if the conditions are tough and all that, you have to just weigh it all up and just do as good as you can and hope it's good enough at the end of the day. I think it taught me that. Some days you might have 34 Stableford points at Warnambool and it'd win the comp by 4 points.
Yeah.
Other days you'd shoot 44 points and you'd run 20th. So yeah. I think that, I think it taught me that. So you just got to do as good as you can and hope that it's good enough at the end of the day. And, if it's not, at least you did your best.
And then, you had your Rookie of the Year in 2009, and then, quite interesting, it sort of goes against what you probably just said. You have the final round 62 at the Travellers. Was that the moment in your mind where you actually suddenly went, hang on, I actually belong out here, and it's have that real sense of belonging on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I think at the start of every year, my goal, now I guess it's to win, but at the start of my career, the start of my career as in the first 5 or 7 years, it was to just keep my card. Obviously you want to win and do all that, but firstly you got to keep your card. That day taught me a lot, not because of the 62 or not because of the victory, but because at the start of the day, I went out there just thinking, all right, just shoot a good score, play as good as you can, try and get as high up the leaderboard as you can, and have a good week and go to the next tournament pretty much. I wasn't thinking about winning.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you go out, it was the same at Torrey Pines this year in, the last round. I think I was 4 back going in with, I had Rory, I had John Rahm, I had all these great players ahead of me. I wasn't thinking about winning. Then you just play as good as you can and they're the times that you end up, well, hopefully, those two occasions it was, but, you end up winning. When you go out and you're two back and you think about winning and not the process, I think that's what gets me. That's what not holds me back. Obviously everyone wants to win, but I feel like when I'm not thinking about the result and I'm just thinking about what I've got to do, that's when I play my best golf. You don't want to get ahead of yourself in any sport, and certainly golf. It's pretty quick to give you a kick in the butt and, teach you that you can't do that.
And that it's a perfect segue into the next question. How, when you're first starting in the game of golf, how do you try to enjoy it, but then you're also balancing the whole thing out that you're also trying to make a living? Like even early days, there'd be a lot of guys that are with so much talent that comes out of Australia, and they obviously seek you out for advice, but it's very hard to actually, I'm going to go out and enjoy it, but you've also got the commercial sense to it that you need to make money. Yeah.
So for me, and I guess everyone's different, but for me, I didn't want to turn pro until and you never know. I mean, there's never all right, I'm going to make money, but I didn't want to turn pro until I was beating amateurs. Like if you can't beat the amateurs, you're not going to beat professionals who do it for a living. So I didn't want to turn pro until I was consistently beating the guys I was playing with at amateur level, and I knew that I could make money. I didn't want to be out there struggling to, put food on the table just for myself. I didn't have wife or kids or anything then. I wanted to make sure that I was good enough to do that, even if I didn't quite have my best stuff. And, that's where you've got to rely on, I guess, learning from your failures. Because, it really is it's not a failure if you learn from it, but if you don't learn from a failure, anything, I feel like that's a proper failure. So I wanted to learn from not only my good or bad stuff, but I wanted to learn from the guys I was playing with. All right, what do they do well? What do they do better than me? What can I improve on easily? And then what do I have to maintain to continue to beat them? So I won a couple of national trial events that year. I won one where I played really well in Belmont, the Lake Macquarie Amateur. And then a couple of months later up in Brisbane at the Capera Bowl, I actually didn't play very well and still won in 2005. And I'm like, all right, it's time now. Like if I'm playing like that and I won, that's, I guess, it's time. I don't want to be winning tournaments if I'm playing bad. So I guess then I turned pro a couple of months later, and then, was lucky enough to, not on the PGA Tour, but on, smaller tours, the Von Nider Tour and the Korean Tour, to win fairly consistently and gain confidence, and then I guess learn how to win. I think that's pretty important too.
What's been your favourite failure?
Probably the Masters 2013. I had a chance to win. I was two or three back going into, I was on the 15th, hit a good drive, but it was on a side slope and I was between clubs. I could have hit a 4-iron straight over the back of the green and, maybe made 4, but possibly made a 4, but probably making 5, no chance to make eagle. I took the 5-iron to try and rip it and make an eagle and try and win the tournament. I didn't quite catch it, hit it in the water, landed on the hill, rolled back into the water. And, but I couldn't have lived with myself if I had have hit the 4-iron over the back of the green.
Yeah.
Not won the tournament. I'd be still wondering, geez, what if I hit the 5? Would I have won all that? I hit the 5-iron and I stuffed it up, but I can sit here and be like, all right, I hit the right club. I just didn't execute it. It was the first time I'd been in contention in a major. that was what I learned the most from. You have to play the right shot at the right time. If you're trying to play defensive or play the wrong shot, I've played with Tiger enough. He always plays the right shot, whether he's 10 under playing to win a tournament, or if he's 10 over on a Sunday morning, no chance to win the tournament, playing like crap. He always hits the shot that's required, and I've learned a lot from him. I learned that from him, and that's probably the thing that the one failure I've learned the most from is the Masters, and probably the one failure that I probably not regret. That regret's not the right word, but probably the British Open in 2015 was at a weird time in my life with Audrey. She'd just been sick, and I almost didn't care enough. It was like if I had it was a very weird time, and I just wish I'd love to have that over again. Those last 3 holes, yeah.
And just on Tiger, you seem one of the few people that when you play with Tiger that you're able to play pretty well. You're able to put everything that's going on around and still come out and play well.
I love it. I love playing with pressure. I feel like I play better when I'm uncomfortable for a good reason like that. You're a bit nervous, or there's crowds at 5 times what you normally play in front of, playing with an idol of yours. I think I lift in that situation, which is fun. It's just fun doing that, like playing in front of a lot of people. And there's not too many. There's 2 shots I've ever hit where I haven't been able to feel my hands. One of them was the first time I ever played with him off the first tee. You're on the first tee and you can't feel your arms. And then the other one was, I don't know if you remember the shot, but it was last year in the President's Cup when we were 5 down with, I think, 8 to go, and me and Abe, we got back and tied the match against Ricky and JT, and that 9-iron into 18. I couldn't feel my hands on that shot either, and hit a really good shot. So I enjoy that. That's what you do all the practice for, to get, when you're in that situation, you just, you got to lift a little bit, and I enjoy that, and that's what you got to do when you play with Tiger, because there is certainly pressure there, whether you're playing poorly or well. Everyone wants to play well when you're playing with him.
How hard is that? Because like in footy parlance, and everyone knows that you love Richmond, it was your AFL team, but it's a lot easier when you play football, that when you get in that situation, you're nervous, and your first instance is, I want to go get body contact, or I can actually take my nervousness out by actually, not hitting someone fair. But in golf, just try and explain to people, it's such a difference that when you get in that situation, to be able to calm your nerves. Like, it's 2 totally different ways in terms of being able to go about it.
Yeah, it is. And it's, a lot of it's experience. For me, it's breathing properly. Like, sometimes you forget to breathe if you're nervous. It sounds really stupid, but you breathe really shallow. If I take deep breaths into my stomach and make sure that my brain's got enough oxygen, I feel like it can work under that situation, or it can work, at least, function well enough. I always love it when I'm playing against someone and you see them take a huge deep breath right before they hit, and you're like, they're stuffed here. Then it creates adrenaline, and they're either going to hit it way over the green, or they're going to chunk it, or all that. So, that's part of being a professional athlete, is you got to learn how your body reacts under different situations, and what you've got to do to calm yourself down, to get your heart rate to a point where, all right, I can control it. And, doing that, not that you're in I guess you're always learning, but you can really improve from things that aren't even related to golf at all, like learning different breathing techniques for when you are under the pump. And, that's one good thing that came out of my wife getting sick a few years ago, is I learned a lot about the lungs and oxygen to different parts of your body and how to get it there. And, since then I've dealt with, not that I've ever been a nervous person at all on the golf course, but I feel like I've just I've won once before then, and I think I've won 5 times since. So it's just learning along the way. You got to, even at times when you don't think that that's what it's all about, there's always something to learn.
This episode is brought to you by National Make Good Solutions, experts in taking your commercial property back to the day it was built at the end of your lease. Now, Stewie Ward, I don't know whether you remember him when we played down at, where did we play? We played golf down at, wasn't 13th Beach, it was down
on the peninsula, St. Andrews.
St. Andrews. We played at St. Andrews. Yep. I think you might have met the boys when we we're down there. Now, he's actually asked to pass on a bit of a question around nowadays with the Bryson DeChambeau and what's going on with that. Do you feel any pressure from your own point of view that I've got to keep up with the Joneses in terms of what I've got to do, or is it a matter of sticking to your own style and trying to find that balance on your own?
For me, it's sticking to my own style. I mean, I could hit it further if I wanted to. I think about Bryson, what's even more impressive about how far he's hitting it is how straight he's hitting it. I mean, when you're hitting it 400 yards, to hit a fairway that's 20 yards wide, think if you hit it 200 yards and you're just hitting the edge of the fairway, you have to hit it twice as straight to hit the fairway the same width at 400 yards. But you might have, it's not going to be double the club head speed, but it's a whole lot more. I think that's what's more impressive. But no, I think I've just got to keep doing what I've been doing. Obviously, you just got to perform on the week. If you can make parts, maybe the conditions need to be right for me, a little firmer, some quick greens or a bit of wind. Certainly, wind is going to make it tough for him. If his ball's in the air for 10 seconds, traveling 400 yards, and that's a heavy wind, I mean, that's going to be tough for him. But geez, he's doing a good job with all that stuff. He's certainly got the golfing bodies thinking about, rolling things back, I'm sure. I mean, if he does what he says he's going to do next week at Augusta, I heard he hit 7 or 8 iron into 8 yesterday, which is, you've been there, you know how silly that is. I mean, he's flying at almost to the top of the hill. I'm hitting driver, maybe a 3 iron if I rip a drive and it's downwind, and he's hitting 7 iron in. So he's doing it his way, and it's certainly working for him at the moment.
Certainly is. Now, on to the Masters. I've said to many people, and I don't think I've had the opportunity to say it to you, I reckon I've got a lot of photos that are my favourite sports photos of all time, but my favourite sports photo of all time easily is the photo. Now, unfortunately, it's not you that's in the winning position, but the photo of you in the background when Adam Scott holds the putt on 18 is easily my favourite sports photo of all time. And I think because of the sheer point of view that you were like every other Aussie golfer, that if you couldn't win it yourself, you were like, okay, I want one of my mates to win it. You would have had no idea that obviously there was any camera or anything like that, and you were giving it a little fist pump.
No, I was over on the front right edge of the green, sort of out of the way. It was certainly not premeditated or anything like that. I think I don't fist pump for my own shots. So I certainly wasn't expecting to do it with him, but, it went in, and it was like, it still gives me goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now. But just to be there, like even to be on the grounds when someone wins, you can hear it everywhere, but to be on the green when a friend of yours, we thought it was, the putt to win. It'd been that. Yeah, that was really cool. It was a cool moment, and was a pretty adrenaline-filled high five afterwards. And then I had a 4-footer. I think it was to finish top 4 and get into all the rest of the majors for the year. I had a 4-footer where my right hand was just the colour of like it was just bright red. I couldn't feel my right hand, and I still had to make this putt. So it was so worth it. I mean, I made the putt, which was good, but yeah, that was a really cool moment, and you know, to see what it took to win for him. You know, we were both sort of level sort of pegging most of the day, and then he towards the end he just obviously made a couple of birdies, and I didn't, but to see how close I was, that was pretty good. And you know, hopefully next Sunday this time I'll have a green jacket, but I know what it takes to win. I've seen it, so yeah, hopefully it can just play good and see how we go.
And it is, Leish, I think, a matter of the golfing gods as well, because I think if with Aussies and Augusta, now you would have seen it firsthand. Yes, you can do everything right, but that little bit of luck that Scotty had on the 13th hole, where the ball probably 9 times out of 10 would roll back into the water.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it just takes, you know, something like that. You know, it can get a big kick forward and go up there and make eagle, and he wins easily, or it can do what it, you know, could zip back and go into the water, and you know, he's not even a factor at the end of the tournament. So yeah, you know, just little luck here and there. That happens on weeks where you win. You know, you hit bad shots every week, but the weeks where you win, those bad shots don't finish in just horrendous positions. And you know, you as hard as it is, you got to sort of roll with the punches, I guess, and take them on the chin when you get them. But when you do get the good breaks, you got to try and take advantage of them, and he did it that day.
Yeah. Now, your feelings coming into this week, you've obviously played well there before. Any idea or any word how the course is going to set up with the change of date? Because obviously, I mean, we're going to the middle of November instead of being first week of April. So what's the word or the inside gossip about how Augusta is going to set up?
So there's a tropical storm down south at the moment, and it's going to bring some rain. So it's going to be soft. I think there's going to be more Bermuda grass than the overseed in what it is in, because coming out of summer, obviously the Bermuda grass is really, really strong. I think the ball's going to sit up a little bit more than what it normally does. Normally it sits down a little bit, and you know, the lies around the green are a little bit iffy. You just got to get absolutely perfect contact. I think they're going to sit up, and I think it will make chipping a little bit easier. But with all the rain, it's going to play long. I don't think the winning score will be as low as what it normally is. But you know, it's hard. I haven't seen the course. I fly down there tomorrow morning, so I'll get a look at it tomorrow afternoon after I get the COVID test and all that, and get all organised.
Do you think in some regards this week is a little bit easier without the crowds? Because I often say that people don't get a grasp of how, and this is what I just noticed because I'm outside the ropes, so I've got no idea, but the noise that reverberates around Augusta, I would nearly find is nearly one of the most intimidating things about the whole place.
I mean, it can be. I love the energy of that place with the crowds. But I've played well early in the year, and then since we came back, I haven't played very well. So the energy's been a bit low, and you know, golf swing wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. But I think the energy of just that place, even without fans, is going to be pretty good. You know, I mean, even though the people aren't going to be physically there, you know, there's going to be a huge TV audience. I think it's going to be hard to get, because there's not as many leaderboards around there as well as what there is on other tournaments. So if you're near the lead Sunday, it might be, you know, for leaderboard watchers, it might be a bit more difficult. But I don't know. It's, you know, you can just worry about doing your own stuff, and that's all. You know, like I was saying before, worry about the process, see what happens at the end of the day. So I hope it's going to be a good thing for me. like I say, it's just an awesome place to play there, and hopefully we can be there for, till late Sunday afternoon, and leave a happy man.
What would be your favourite thing about Augusta that you look forward to every year? Like that, is it still? I would still imagine driving down Magnolia is still as cool as it gets.
Yeah, it is good. Drive down there. Normally you'll drive down there and there's that big lineup of people getting a picture in front of the clubhouse. You see everyone taking photos of you, and as you're driving in and pointing at you and all that. But to me, it's like it's getting to the back nine, walking up to that 10th tee on Sunday afternoon, knowing that all right, it really is where it all starts. You can be leading there by 4 shots and you're not safe to win. You could be 4 behind and you could be tied by the time you're on the 13th tee. Yeah. I think that's the cool place about that. Getting to that back nine, there's so much volatility that can occur, and that's probably my favourite thing about it, is getting in the Masters week when you're playing well is as good a week as you'll have. I mean, I love the British Open as well, so if I could pick 2 tournaments in the world, they would be the 2. But walking to that back nine at Augusta with a chance to win is what it's real. That's a special place, and hopefully can have that feeling in a week's time.
Exactly right. Now fast forward, well, not fast forward, it's over 5 years ago. In April 2015 should have been a great time of year, and then you're actually at the Masters in your first year that Audrey's sick. What was the first things that go through your mind? And then obviously the gravity of the situation when you arrived home.
Yeah, this time of year, well, the Masters week, I was actually texting her doctor a couple of days ago, just telling him I was, thinking about him and all that, and I thank him all the time for what he did for her. But yeah, it's a weird time of year for that reason, but it's also a very happy time of year because the Masters is a happy week, and we won't have the Par 3 tournament this year, unfortunately, but having the kids out there and doing all that, it's just awesome. So it's, I guess, it's a perspective comes back this week, Masters week, knowing that, all right, this time 2 years or 5 years ago, doesn't seem that long ago, but I was in a hospital with Audrey and thinking that, basically planning a funeral. So, really lucky that she's still here now and healthy and everything. Kids have got a mum, going down to the Masters again tomorrow morning, and life's good. So, my golf game hasn't been exactly where I have wanted it, but it's certainly trending in the right direction, and hopefully I can have all the good shots next week and see how it ends up.
And on the back of that, you created a foundation in 2016, the Begin Again Foundation. And also, I love the story about how you met over having a beer, and how the Leishman Lager has been formed and all the money that you've raised from that. Now, I think maybe a few Australians probably saw that from the outside and went, oh, geez, isn't it every man's fantasy that you've created your own beer? But at least there is a great story behind it and what the money actually goes to.
Yeah, there is. There's a good story. It's a good beer. So I think we've raised about total for the Begin Again. I think it's about $3 million that we've given away. So that feels good to help people when they really need it. We were lucky with Audrey, obviously, that she survived, but we were really lucky that it didn't break us financially. I mean, her medical bills were insane. And, when you're worried about getting your wife healthy and her getting healthy, you don't want to be stressing about how the hell you're going to pay for your medical bills, or if you're going to lose your house or pay for your electricity bill or whatever it is. So we like to help people when they really need it like that. And we've helped over 3,000 families. So yeah, it's a good feeling, and to have a beer as well is pretty cool too. So it seems like everyone enjoys it, and hopefully we'll get bigger and bigger.
I'm sure, was it you and your old man would have done a fairly extensive testing process to really make sure that you got it right?
Quality control is very important, Corey. So we make sure we're on top of that.
Now, Saturday the 24th of October, I believe it was someone's birthday, and his beloved Tigers happened to run out on the grand final. Now, what were you doing on grand final day? At what time of the day was it over there?
Yeah, it was unreal. I was in Vegas actually, for a tournament, not for fun, for a tournament. So we, it was. I think it started at 2 a.m., 2 or 3 a.m. So I didn't get to watch it, but watched all the highlights packages and watched as much as I could. When I woke up that next morning, and it looked like a pretty good game too, just quietly. Obviously that the Tigers come out on top, but they were down early and fought back pretty well, and it was nice to have a close grand final.
It was. Now, the fascination with grass, brother, where did that come from? And I think everyone's thoroughly enjoyed the social media, and it looks like the grass at the front of your house looks like it could be running at about 11 or 12.
Yeah, I can get it pretty quick. But no, it's more, I don't know, just on weeks off, it's good to, it gives me something to do when the kids are at school, and it's pretty satisfying too to, see it, the start of the year, it's normally pretty ordinary. It's in dormancy for about 4 months. And then to get it back and get it really good and stripe it up, it's just, it's pretty fun to do it. And then, burns a few calories, makes you earn your beer at the end of the day. So it's been a hobby. I'm not as crazy about it as what the videos make me out to be. I'm probably at about twice a week at the moment cutting it, but certainly not twice a day.
Was that nearly one of your career highlights when I saw the footage of you cutting the grass at the MCG? For someone who's from Victoria and is a proud Richmond fan, to jump on and cut the grass at the MCG, was that right up there?
Yeah, that was unreal. Went out there, and it was before day 5 of the Shield game against New South Wales. So went out there and did a few, up and back, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times. And then, all the Victorian boys are out there stuffing around on the ground before the game, and I was out there with them. It was fun. It was, it's obviously such a cool stadium, and it's impressive that they can grow grass in there. It was 15 degrees outside the G, and we walked in there, and it was like walking into a fridge. It was freezing. So I don't know how they grow grass in there, but that was cool to get on the big mower and take it for a spin.
Now, I always ask this to everyone, Leish. My final question. It's the name of the series that I've come up with called Fork in the Road. Now, what would be Marc Leishman's fork in the road moment? Now, it could be anything, and I may have an inkling about what it might be, but what's the fork in the road moment where life has gone either way for the positive?
I think when I took a punt, the easy one would be when Audrey got sick, but I think it was before that. I think when I took a punt I was playing on the Korean tour. I was exempt there for 2 or 3 years, making really good money over there, and packed up shop and came to America with no status anywhere. I think that's my fork in the road, just gambling like that, backing myself, and I actually missed my first 7 Monday qualifiers in a row, which was a bit disheartening. Finally got into a few, and then took off. So that got my card on the secondary tour, and then got on the PGA tour the next year, and sort of never really looked back. So I think it would be just backing myself and coming to America when things were going pretty well elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, at Leish, I'm hoping by this time next Monday, I usually do a walk where I help out with mental health on Monday mornings. I have not missed a Monday, Wednesday, Friday the whole year, but I've told them, I said, right, next Monday you won't going to see me. And I'm hoping when I'm sitting there Monday morning that I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it now, that I'm hoping that you're in the final group and I'm probably just about to ease into, or I might have already started reasonably early, that I'm easing into a Leishman Lager, and let's hope that we can get one of those nice little green jackets on your back.
That would be nice. I'd love to bring a green jacket back to Melbourne, and like you said, hopefully this time next week I'll be having a Leishman Lager as well. I'll have to take a few down just in case.
Well, you better go. But look, on behalf of everyone, look, we are very fortunate in Australia. We've got some ripping golfers that are flying the flag overseas, and we have spoken to Ian Baker Finch on this series as well. And to have guys like yourself, Adam Scott, Jason Day, and Ian Baker Finch, Cam Smith, all the guys that represent the country very proudly, not only from an on the field point of view or on the course point of view, but off the field, the way that you go about it. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of dealings with you, mate, and it's a privilege to be able to sit down during my favourite week of the year. And let's hope that this time next week that there's a little addition in the closet, which would be a nice little green jacket.
It would be, yeah. Hopefully I can do that and give everyone something to cheer about. So thanks, Corey. Thanks for having me.